Yeah. So the Spanish flu is the worst disease outbreak in world history over such a short period of time. In the United States, they estimate about 650,000 people died, and globally, estimates of 50 million, possibly as high as 100 million. It spread very quickly because it was a particularly severe kind of virus. It was spread as influenza is now, people coughing, sneezing, breathing on each other. So it did go from person to person, but people weren't aware of it initially. And so they didn't take proper measures to prevent the spread in almost all cases until it was pretty widespread within a community, and then it was too late. Virginia Tech was affected. The number of students who died of influenza is a little bit unclear. It's somewhere between 5 and 10. If you think about whatever 600 or so students, 10 is a lot, to think about that student body. If you look at the names of the BPI men who died in World War I that are on the pylon, I think there are 22 names. As far as we can tell, at least 7 or 8 of them died from disease in the war, including those who died here, who died in training camps in the United States, but also some who died in France. So it did have an impact on the community. Classes were suspended due to the influenza, both the number of people who were sick and not able to come to class, but also to try and control the spread of the disease. So it certainly had an effect on the campus. As we've moved through different stages of dealing with COVID-19, I think the way I think about 1918 has also changed. Right now, April 1st, we're anticipating, I think several weeks where the number of cases and unfortunately the number of deaths are going to increase very, very quickly. And that is very much the experience in October of 1918. Certainly as I look at the measures implemented in 1918, some of them were necessary and effective, but there are also things they didn't do, that we are doing now in terms of really restricting business activity, trying to control public movement. And I guess the last one, if you wanted to look for some sign of hope, you can anticipate an increase in the number of cases and in the number of deaths, but at some point that will start to go down. Because then the question is, how do you let up on these measures? Because if you let up on them too soon, you can get what they had in 1918, which is a kind of second wave, which was never as deadly as the first wave, but it was still significant. And I think that's certainly a lesson you can learn from there. If you release these measures too soon, people rush back into the public, they connect with each other, they kind of do all the behaviors that can spread the disease. It can be very, very dangerous.